Hello everyone, I'm Rachawl. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to be getting into something that millions of people deal with on a daily basis. Something that myself included deals with on a daily basis. This is going to be a video talking about back pain, contribute to it directly and indirectly. Things that we do on accident and things that we do on purpose. I want to throw out a disclaimer that I am not a doctor, I am not a nutritionist, and I am not a healthcare professional in any way. So one thing that I'd like to mention too is there's a difference between acute back pain and chronic back pain. These are things that make a really big difference on what's causing your issues. So why is back pain a thing? Why do so many people we know suffer from it? And why do some people never have it? How come one person has chronic back pain for their entire life and some people have never experienced back pain, ever? Another big question is back pain inevitable in our lifetime? So as you know, there's probably some pretty obvious things that can contribute to back pain. These things can be the way that we're working out, our genetics, accidents that we've had in the past, traumatic incidents that have happened, injuries, all types of things like that directly affect our back. One of the biggest things I'd like to talk about in this video are society's workout trends and things that kind of come and go with the ages and what's trendy. Part of the issues with our workout trends is that we tend to do little to no research before attempting them. We usually go onto Instagram and we see somebody talking about a new workout trend that seems to work great for them and they've had great success with. So we get influenced, just like the influencers want us to. And we start thanking them for sharing the workout with us because we seem to find some success in it as well. I have tons of personal struggles with the weight loss, the workouts, the failed diets. I have tons of experience with the fad workouts, the trendy workouts. So this is something coming from a place of experience and a place of consistent research on why they fail and why do they hurt us in the long run. So there's a really common statistic that we tend to hear about if you've ever done research on weight loss or even just heard about it. It's essentially that people who lose weight, they tend to actually gain more weight back than they lost originally. So there's a high statistical chance that when you start this weight loss journey, this workout journey, you are going at some point to gain the weight back. This is extremely frustrating for the people that go through it. We work so hard to change our entire lifestyles, to make this new change in our life permanent, and we get so much support from the people around us saying that they're so proud of us and that we're starting this new workout routine. It's hard to see ourselves fail, but in a way we're set up to fail from these workouts that we follow. According to two doctors that wrote the article is Kevin D. Hall and Scott Kahan. They talk a lot about why this happens, and essentially it's because the way that we choose to lose weight, the way that we choose to work out, tends to come out of nowhere very quickly, and we jump on the train, we do little to no research, and we lose weight. Within months, we get down to a pretty good weight. And the reason this fails is because of how quick this happens. We don't get time to make it a habit. We don't have a chance to learn why this is working for us, why we're losing weight, and so we will fail as quickly as we began. Where do these trends come from? These are not trends that you're going to find going to a doctor. These are not trends that you will find going to a nutritionist to talk about your weight, to talk about your health issues. These are trends we're going to find on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. Some of these examples would be yoga, hot yoga, the HIIT workouts, high intensity interval training, Peloton, tons of workouts that you're going to see with a big hashtag that kind of guides them through Instagram and people swear by them. There's many MLMs that also claim to have amazing workout results and amazing product results for weight loss and working out assistance, such as protein powders. There are tons of workout supplements that these MLM products are selling to help you lose weight and to help you get fit. So let's talk about why these can be bad for us. There are tons of people that have great success with these programs. There are a handful of people out there that genuinely do lose the weight, they do get healthy, and they keep the weight off. And they are the success stories that these companies and these brands rely on. So when we see those pictures going around talking about how they lost 100 pounds using hot yoga, using this protein powder, doing this every day, eating this every day, we want to jump on that bandwagon. We want to lose 100 pounds just like that person did. With the little to no research that we do, just as human beings, this is where it can harm us. So many people are predisposed to back pain. Sounds crazy. Some people have great genetics and they can go their entire life falling, breaking things, doing intense sports, doing intense workouts, doing yoga every single day, running, and never have back pain. This is all due to genetics. This is due to the way that our body is built and many other factors. So what about the people that can't do these workouts? The people that do get back pain? The people that try these workouts and end up harming themselves long term? The easiest way to explain this is to break down how our back is built, our spine specifically. So our spine is made up of a few things. It's got the vertebrae, which are the bones that create strength and the stability. We have the discs, which I like to call jelly donuts. I will probably refer to them as jelly donuts for the rest of the video because it creates such a great imagery for you to understand it. We have the spinal cord, which is protected by the vertebrae and the jelly donuts. And then we have the muscles and ligaments that are attached to the spine and the spinal cord and everything else. So essentially when we jump and we land on the ground, our jelly donuts compress and they don't explode because they do have a load limit, right? So they can withstand a pretty substantial amount of pressure as long as it's applied evenly. What we get into when it comes to bending over, lifting weights incorrectly, things like that, we're getting into pushing pressure on the jelly donuts unevenly. So when we bend forward, the front part of the jelly donut is being squished and the back part is being released of pressure. So we're putting excess pressure on the front part of it. So if we continue to do that incorrectly, and especially with weight involved, that's going to put tons of unnecessary pressure on the front part of the jelly donut. It can start to get brittle, like a stale donut. It starts to crack. The water inside starts to diminish, and that cushion for your vertebrae is nearly non-existent. So your vertebrae is going to be bone on bone, which is extremely painful. And this creates no more pathways for your nerves to come through. So our vertebrae and our discs create tunnels for our spinal cord to send out our nerves to all the other parts of our body. So if those tunnels get shrunken, we get impinged nerves, aka a pinched nerve. I'm sure you've had one in your neck before. It's very common. It's where the nerves can no longer access those tunnels and get where they need to be. There are people that are predisposed to disc issues. There's people that are predisposed to vertebrae issues, people that have osteoarthritis, arthritis, and there's a thing called degenerative disc disease. These are actually extremely common. You can look them up and find out more about them and who's at risk. But essentially, you will not know if you have these issues until the pain starts. So you could potentially go get a scan done of your spine and find out how your discs look, how your vertebrae looks, everything. But they're expensive and most insurances will not approve them unless you have a reason for it, such as back pain. When I got diagnosed with degenerative disc, I was confused because looking it up, it's something that people in their 50s and 60s get diagnosed with. It's considered degenerative in your 50s and 60s because it's not supposed to happen until you're in your mid to late 70s. It's a natural degeneration of the spine. So when you tell a 25-year-old that they have a natural degeneration of a 70-year-old, it's slightly concerning. And then you're wondering what else is going on. There are ways that you can actually harm yourself even further. So you can actually make these diseases progress if you are not careful with how you're treating your back. When you do yoga, now remember, yoga is something that was created before we even had language. So this is something that was created as a religious and mindful exercise. It has been appropriated into a workout fad. Well, hot yoga is a great example. You take a very mindful personal experience and you put it to music in a huge studio with big mirrors, tons of people. And this is no longer a mindful experience. This is just strictly for weight loss and working out. So its original purpose is thrown out and it's recreated into something that is a fad. And I'm sure probably every single one of us has done it. We just have to remember that many of these workout trends started as something great, started as something extremely helpful and positive, and is usually turned into a quick way to lose weight, a quick way to tone your body, a quick way to work out and get healthy. These things never last. These are things that, like I said, when you're doing specific yoga moves, you're going to harm your back. I started yoga because I was having back pain, and I followed some YouTube channels on some specific yoga moves for back pain. So I was just hoping that, maybe they wouldn't make it worse. I visited my physical therapist the next week after starting, and I told him about my new journey. He essentially laughed at me and said, please do not. First of all, you need to find a yoga instructor that knows what they're doing and understands the body and how it works. I'd like to also tell you that I see 30 to 40 yoga instructors a week in the physical therapist office. So this was mind-blowing to me because this is telling me I'm watching these YouTube videos for my back pain. And you're telling me that these instructors that teach this yoga are now in the physical therapy office for back pain. It's not surprising when you really start to begin to learn about what yoga does to your body and how it actually works. But it is surprising for, I think, the average person. So when we're in yoga, we tend to do a lot of twisting with our spine. That's okay, as long as you are not over twisting. Our lower spine, basically from the halfway point of our back down, does not twist at all. There is little to no twisting in that area. The upper spine, so from the middle of our back up, that has a little bit more leeway. The bones are smaller, the ligaments are stretchier, and the muscles are a lot more stretchy. So why does our back allow us to turn if we're not supposed to? This is one of the biggest questions I see. And the simple answer to that is if we were to turn our backs the way they weren't supposed to, we would break them. We would have people breaking their back every single day because they twisted too quickly. Okay, so our bodies allow us a specific amount of motion so we don't injure ourselves, because there are situations where you do need to twist pretty aggressively. So if you're in any kind of situation where you're in danger and you need to contort your body into a specific way to escape the danger, our body will allow us to do that. There are amazing things that our body can do to help us get through something scary and intense. So doing yoga, you're turning 90 degrees, your spine is turning 90 degrees, can feel good, and you can get more flexible. You can flex those ligaments and those muscles to allow you to turn in that direction without issue. But the problem is if your body is predisposed to any kind of back problems, you are just aggravating something that you definitely do not want to aggravate. Like I said, there are people out there that genetically can do these things with no issue their entire life. And they may never have an issue. And maybe later in life they will. There are definitely statistics of that. People who get into their 50s and 60s after a long, hard life of working out and stretching, they do tend to show some early arthritis and degenerative disc issues. But for the most part, those people can live a great, healthy life with no issues. But I'd like to say more than half of the people, just reading statistics, they have something that they're prone to. They're prone to something, whether it's that degenerative disc, whether it is the osteoarthritis, the arthritis, and any other bone issues. I don't like to pick on yoga because I do think it's a very great outlet for many people. I think that it's a mental and spiritual experience more than anything. So if you use it for the right reasons and you're not looking to lose weight or work out, then I think it's a great alternative to meditation. I think it can go hand in hand with meditation. And I think it could go hand in hand with stretching before our workouts. Things like lifting weights can be another huge impact factor on our back pain. So when you're lifting weights, you can lift weights. It is possible, and our bodies will allow us to do it. We're going to build muscle tone. We're going to get our cardio in if you do enough reps and sets. And I think it's a great way to hang out with your friends, go to the gym, and get some social time in as well. The issue lies with your posture when it comes to lifting weights. Same with yoga. There's some postures that you got to do in order to lift some pretty heavy weights. Most people that go to the gym and lift weights are not training to be bodybuilders. So we're not lifting crazy amounts of weights, maybe 10, 15 to 20 pounds at a time. But what's really important is that 10, 15, 20 pounds extra on our spine is a ton of weight. We like to think of that in terms of percentages compared to our actual body weight that we're carrying on our spine already. You can do the math, the weight that you're lifting, the percentage of your body weight, you're adding that much more percent of stress onto your back. If you are bending your back during any type of weightlifting exercise, that is going to hurt your back. So when you are doing any type of squatting, where it feels natural when you stick your butt out during a squat, it feels natural to curve your back because it's going to relieve the pressure on all of your vertebrae and kind of put it directly onto a few different discs. But what we want to do is create the even pressure. And it can be more difficult to lift weights this way. It can be more difficult to keep your back straight. Some people actually wear back braces and other type of back belts to prevent their back from bending because they do realize that this is something that could really injure your back long term. I think the reason we don't see this information as much as we should is because the influencers who influence people with these types of workouts and their fitness routines, they don't really mention it very much. And I would say half of the routines that I've seen on Instagram, they're not showing the proper postures. So even they themselves are not knowing what they're doing to their back. I would say 10 to 15% of the weightlifting influencers that I see are correctly using, obviously, their posture, but also explaining you need to have a straight back during this exercise. But even they don't explain why, right? We just hear, okay, you gotta have a straight back. Cool. But I think what's important is to really get that why across. I'm glad that we got the what, keep your back straight, but we need to explain to people the importance of it. Otherwise, they're just going to skip over it like any other part of working out. There's going to be little details that we think are unnecessary, and we need to explain why they're necessary. Now, if you work out 2 weeks and you quit, it's not for you. This is not going to harm your back. It's the working out that we do for 3 to 6 months, and even if we do it for the rest of our lives, these are the things that will begin to harm our back if done incorrectly. It's similar to the repetitive motion issues that we get, such as carpal tunnel. You're typing all day. Some people don't ever get carpal tunnel. Some people can go their entire life typing on a computer every single day for 8 hours straight and never have carpal tunnel issues. Again, this is really comes down to the predisposition that you have of carpal tunnel syndrome. So basically, just to recap, we need to start taking care of our backs now. I don't care what age you are, whether you're 12 years old, 18 years old, 30 years old, and 50 years old. These are things that we can all take into account. We all want to be healthier people. We all strive to look our best, to feel our best. And I think that losing weight and lifting weights and getting healthier are on top of our priorities these days, which is great because realistically in the past, we've had too much going on to really care about our health. And I'm glad that our society has gotten to a point where we want to care about our health and we want to feel and look good. We want to do things that are good for our bodies. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that the things that we are doing good for our body can be harmful long-term use. So it's just like tanning beds, something that many people do to make themselves feel and look good. These are long-term harmful effects that we are using for the short-term satisfaction. Losing 100 pounds is amazing. That's going to take a little bit of stress off of your back in itself. But the workouts that you're doing to get there, the yoga that you're doing to get there, and the day-to-day activities like walking, lifting, running, and even just going to work and sitting in a computer chair, those are things that are affecting our back as well. It's important to learn, I think, the anatomy of your back and learn what that proper posture is going to be. Walking can be done incorrectly. I was a person that walked incorrectly, and I didn't realize it until I saw a physical therapist. I highly recommend that if you don't have a physical therapist, even if you don't have pain and you don't have any issues, I think it's extremely important to go to a physical therapist. Get a really good rundown on what's important posture for your body, what's something you're doing wrong right now, and something that you can work on for the rest of your life. I think that would be a great step for everybody who's going to begin working out and begin doing all these healthy exercises to get our weight on track, to get our health on track, and to tone our muscles. Thanks for watching this video. I hope that this information was helpful. I am very passionate about helping people that have gone through things that I have gone through. So the struggle of not being able to get out of bed some days, and the struggle of staying out of bed and being healthy and living a completely normal life, it's huge, and it's very impactful on people that are beginning to go through it. It's important to share this information. So if you feel like sharing this video with someone you know who struggles with back pain, someone who does these workouts, maybe is beginning to complain about back pain, but isn't quite sure where to start, I think that's a great idea. Again, thanks for watching. Please hit a like and subscribe on here. That would mean the world to me. And continue to look out for my videos. I'm going to be talking about tons of more health topics. Thanks so much.